Welcome to Alpha Wolf Capital. I'm Tim, and I want to personally thank you for stopping by. This channel is designed to help small companies, both public and private, gain exposure with potential consumers, investors, even partners. Take, for example, today's guest, CEO Darin Myman from DATS Inc. DATS Inc. is a blockchain, cybersecurity, and social media company that not only focuses on protecting our privacy on our devices, but also protecting our information after we have shared it with others. They believe an individual's right to privacy should not end the moment that you hit send. Their platform allows users to exercise control over their messages and posts even after they're already sent. Through their application, users can delete messages that they send on their own device and the recipient's device as well. There is no set time limit within which must exercise this choice. You can do it at any time. It has a nuclear option where you can literally dissolve the entire chat like it never existed. And I'm going to let Darin tell you more about this in just a moment. This is not to be taken as investment advice. I am not a certified financial planner. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Capital coming at you with a follow-up. And this was not something we just did last minute. We scheduled this last week, but it's perfect timing, it appears to be. DATS, D-A-T-S, Darin Myman is in the house.
How are you today, Tim?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Darin?
It's a crazy day in that chat land.
Yeah, it looks that way. So listen, man, did you increase the float in the amount of shares outstanding or something since last time we met?
No, we're still at the like just under 4.3 million, same place. Haven't raised any money. We're sitting on plenty of cash, but we did announce today that we released Myseum for Android and iOS, and we'll be attending a big photo managers conference. You know, people that could potentially sell the Myseum product, and the stock just went crazy. I mean, I thought it was a little bit of a light press release, nothing major, the things we're planning, but I think we traded over 130 million shares today.
That's why I asked, because I was just looking. It's 133.69.7 billion shares have traded hands.
Yeah, and
How does that
stocks.
happen when you only have how many? 4 point what?
I think just under like 4.275, like just under 4.3 million.
That's
Maybe there's
outstanding, right?
3.8, 3.9 million in the float. How does it trade like this? I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, it's a good problem to have, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Um,
Well,
so go ahead.
it's just setting up for where we are with the business and moving towards a revenue generating company now that Myseum's out and starting to build out the business side. So in the next 60 to 90 days, we can get that launched and start generating real revenues into the company. So that's what's exciting to me. And seeing the growth of Myseum and the responses that we had at the conference we were just at for genealogy.
So let's talk about that because with the last time we met, right, you were
Mm-hmm.
actually getting ready to do a soft launch with my Myseum, right,
Mm-hmm.
at that what I guess Heritage
Roots Tech.
Roots Tech conference, right? So we wanted to follow up and see how did that event pan out for you?
It was far exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
It's the largest genealogy conference and technology for genealogy. And the response from genealogists, people that are into this, other businesses that were there, it seems that we're providing a service and a new type of social network platform that doesn't exist for genealogy. And that's what was really exciting. We had It was a phenomenal response, and the follow-ups from that.
How many people were there on average for that event?
They were expecting at least 15,000, 10 to 15,000. I'd say we spoke to thousands of people at the booth. It was crazy.
Really?
And they get another, their conference never really ends. They run an online version of it where you could visit the booths and see everything that was recorded there. So they expect millions of people to see that over the course of the year.
Okay. And then they did they talk to you at your booth for that
Yeah,
online?
yeah. Well, we had an online booth, but we had a physical booth there with
Right.
our video running. Very nice, showing Myseum as your forever digital shoebox. The response was phenomenal. This is something people need because the only alternatives are very expensive. There's a couple companies selling without our social network attached, just long-term storage for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Really?
Myseum's free. You get a nice size Myseum to start, and you can create your legacy, not just for your family, friends, and soon for businesses. One thing I want to stress, I think is the most important part of this is, when I was in college, I didn't have many pictures left as part of a fraternity. I'd love to see what's going on and be part of that galaxy in Myseum. See what's going on with my fraternity and the kids today and what people I knew had pictures of me posting from in the past. That doesn't exist. This is the start of something new, something that really changes the landscape of social media. Because people, I said this last time, Facebook is just me to you, one to one, whether you use social media or not. It's a one-to-one connection. This allows it to grow exponentially, and that's what people love. And that's what preserves your legacy for future generations by passing it along automatically. It's the old 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. If I'm connected to you and you're connected to, let's say, Rick, who's connected to someone else, and it just grows. You can wind up connected to 100,000 people, all that have access to your Myseum, and
But
will always
you're still the center of your universe or your galaxy, right?
everyone's the center of their own galaxy, but you're part of other people's galaxies too.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the uniqueness of the technology. When we started, we kept thinking of it as a family tree, and it's not. It's very linear, your parents, your grandparents, it just goes down and out. This goes around you because, my kids, when they get married, their in-laws will be part of my galaxy and I can allow them to see parts of my Myseum forever. And it automatically lives there. So when people want to know what I'm doing and see the life I live and where I lived and what I did and know me, and even hear my voice narrating my Myseum, which is a feature that's coming, it's just cool stuff. And that's what people that love this stuff, when the people that love genealogy and family trees get it, that made me very happy.
Right. Right. I think this thing, and we talked about this last time. When people really start to understand what it is, how it works, and I'll be straight up with you. I downloaded the app, right,
Mhm.
and started messing with it. It was very easy for me to take the pictures that I had on my phone and then make a little subgroup and start adding pictures, right? I mean, it was, and then I could send out an invitation to all my friends that that I wanted I could go through and I could hand pick them, or I could just say send it to
Mhm.
everybody on my phone, right? It's very cool. I mean, it was, and I'm not a social media guy at all. I mean, I'm just not. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I mean, I'm on there, but I'm never on there, right? I'm on there for like a minute, maybe.
Mhm.
So when I started messing with it, I could see you start seeing the possibilities of where this thing can go, right? And you have one of the screens has actually got me like in a star background
Your
where I
galaxy.
right galaxy, which I thought was really cool, right? And I can see how the extensions of that, because if I'm a car guy, or I'm a
Mhm.
Dover and Pincher guy, or I'm Alpha Wolf guy, I've got all these different little sub worlds, I guess, that I'm involved in, right? But I don't want everybody to be involved in those. I just want the people that are involved in those worlds to be there. Does that make sense?
You want little solar systems, and that's what'll be coming out very shortly, where you'll have your giant galaxy or your universe, and it'll have your solar systems in it. So for me, I'll have obviously everyone at work. I'm a German Shepherd guy. So I'll have that group going and people connecting and connecting. And all of a sudden you'll see not just the people you connect to, but who they connect to and they connect to. And that's what's unique about us. When I was in the Roots Tech conference was in Utah, which is the capital of MLM, I was explaining it to people. It's kind of like a free multi-level marketing for social media that just allows you to, if you want to connect to all these other people.
Right. If you want it, right? I mean, you're going to
If
be
you
able
want.
to choose if you want to. But I started thinking about businesses and building a brand, and in my head, this is a very quick way, good way to build a brand if you have a positive. Let's put it this way. I better be careful here.
Mhm.
If you have a good product and you're going to get, because you don't want to build, you don't want your brand out there if everybody's going to be trashing you the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea. But if you've got a good brand and people love your product, man, that could grow exponentially so fast in this universe. I think it could be mind blowing.
It just moves quickly, and it also gives to businesses, not just from the brand perspective. Think of an influencer that so much is lost. They put the things out, the posts go, they drop down on Instagram or whatever it is. This allows people to come in and really easily view what you've done and connect to your fans and their fans and their fans and really grow your base and grow your brand exponentially. and
Right.
and that's unique in that this is the first time it isn't one to one, and that's what our technology does. And that's what took 2 years to build. How do we connect everyone together? But when you have that many people connected together, how do you organize it? And how do you go? How do I easily go from my family to my German shepherds, right, and that group, or the businesses, places I've worked in the past, whether it's brokerage firms or other jobs I had even as a kid at a supermarket. Be cool to see all them. Think of all the events the average business has or people attend, whether it's Christmas parties. They take all these pictures and then they're lost. I was just at the Roots Tech conference, which was amazing. Tons of pictures, tons of video being taken, not just by the organizers, but by the people there. Can you imagine if you could accumulate those and have those from year to year, from conference to conference to look back on?
I mean, look, I live in Las Vegas where conventions and conferences are kind of
Mm-hmm.
a big thing, right? You see people when they're at these conferences, what are they doing? Taking pictures of all the booths, right? I mean, there's just, and then what happens with all that stuff, right? Or even
Right.
the investor conferences that I go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the investors that are there and all the companies that are doing their demonstrations. And I mean, taking pictures, I mean, actually, if you think about it, just think about you being at a conference. Speaking of that, are you planning on going to any conferences in the near future for our
Towards the
industry?
end of the second quarter, we're going to do a big conference schedule. We're ready to get this out. What we want to do is get the revenue producing side of this ready. And that's what we're working on now, which is the organizations, charities, businesses, and then tie that in with the consumer, really blow this up, start our marketing campaign, but also put together a sales force to sell this to businesses, which is a different revenue model than the friends, family, and the consumer side.
Okay, which I think if the businesses that get on here early, I think could be really beneficial for them, right?
Oh, very beneficial.
Right.
It allows you to build your brand, stay better connected with your customers when they can see things that are going on, and sometimes even humanize your business if they could see, the pictures from within the business if you want to share those with customers.
Absolutely. Right.
Create that human connection that allows people to really know what's going on. They don't see that on just a Facebook page.
Right. Right.
But for the business too, if you have a customer and then your customer could be connecting to people that see your business as well and say, wow, this is a great company to do business with. Why not? Or this is a great influencer to follow. Or uh, one of the biggest areas I think is going to be for kids sports. I can't tell you how many people I know that want to be able to collaborate while at a soccer game live, get the pictures and share them with everyone taking the different pictures, or at concerts. Think of, what do you see at concerts say? Everyone stands there with their phone taking pictures and video. Wouldn't it be great if they were all shared into a common
Oh,
Myseum folder?
shit. Yeah, that would be
And
something, huh?
that's what we're building, and we're this close now. We're right here. The next 60, 90 days to roll out the revenue producing side, because to me, it's great our stock trades. We put out kind of a fluffy announcement today. We're in a good cash position. We don't need to tap the capital markets. But when we start generating revenue, and that's geared for Q3 of this year, get the last of the development done, to have a really solid business product ready to go. And also put a salesforce in place during this period. They'll go out there and go to a business with, let's say it's a National Soccer Association, get them set up with all their sub chapters and then all the teams and the regions. It gets big fast if we hit it right.
Yeah,
It's big very fast.
it gets massive fast,
Yes.
right?
Well, it's not often you get to solve a real problem. Our pictures are locked on our phones, and we think we're more media savvy because we have 8,000 pictures on our phones. But how do we make it easier to share today, which is a shared experience we're building, and the Myseum, but also to leave that legacy? I mean, also what people loved at Roots Tech is being able to leave a video message for the future, or to use AI to narrate your Myseum, reading all the captions in your voice.
Right,
And
right.
all things.
Which are additional features that you have coming, right?
Yes, that's all in fast production now. Now that the core is done, you know, in our soft launch, always find little bugs. We didn't have too many. Now we want to make it really easy to use. Not that it's not already easy to use, and start adding all these other features in a very intuitive way that it's easy and convenient and fun for people and useful.
Right, right. I think you really put. I mean, it started out as a pretty simple concept for you, right? You wanted to put together a photo album, and then you were
Mhm.
like, "Gee, I've got all these photos on my phone, right? I can't put them in the photo album, right?"
Right.
That's how it all started.
Yeah, no one prints pictures anymore. No one has shoe boxes. I hate looking at people's phones at parties when they're showing me like I would say the trip to Aruba. Drives me crazy. Why don't we could just share it into a common space? Boom, boom, boom. Take pictures, while we're there, everyone taking pictures. Should it disappear at the end of the party or be saved? Your choice. But there's so much this this is big to me. This
I
isn't
think it's going to
about.
be big. Look, I did send it out. I sent the link out. Of course, the natural reaction is anytime you send a link to something, nobody wants to click on it because they don't know if you actually really sent it. But then I told everybody I did send it.
Mhm.
It is from me, and you should check it out because I think this thing is going to be a game changer for social media in a lot of ways, right? Because
Right there.
of what you just said, it's not a one-to-one thing. It's a one to your universe, the things that you care about. It's a connection
Mhm.
possibly to all of that and more.
Yes. It's the old commercial, like you tell two friends and they tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on. And that's how it gets big very fast. It
Yeah,
doesn't take a lot of marketing dollars. It just takes, the right feature set, which I think we have, the right technology that scales very easily. And we have a bunch of patents on this as well
that's
that
what
really.
I was just gonna hit you next. So, intellectual property wise, you feel as though you got a good moat, some good protection there.
Yeah, I think we have 3 to 4 solid patents, three that are super solid, two that were filed just for this that have
Okay,
been granted. Another one that we had on communications and blockchain storage. That we're well positioned to grow this, protect what we're building. But while the patents are super important, we have a total of 15 in DATS. The ones that protect this are very important. But getting big quick is the real value. Because we're going to, right now, we have a first in opportunity that doesn't come along very often. And it's a first-in opportunity to solve a problem that we have, but most people still haven't realized. But they're going to very soon.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Right. Once you get on it and you start to play around with it, it becomes very evident. Oh, you start thinking about all these different things you can do, right? Because you're going through your pictures and you're like going, well, I don't want that in this group, but
Right.
where would I want that, right?
Hmm.
And you start making all these little folders, these other little rooms, right? Essentially,
Yeah.
and that's what.
And that's a
Go ahead.
big part of Myseum now because this is only for family. Only family could see this. This is everyone for future family. And we're taking all the good DAT chat stuff in to put that it's digital rights management, but to the average person, it's like this is for family, immediate family only. This is for all my family.
Right.
And there's a whole news feed. We've rebuilt Facebook around this as well. There's a news feed where you can see what's going on with your Dobermans. You can see what's going on with your kids. You can see what's going on the global galaxy you're a part of,
Right. Right.
which may start moving really quick when you have 500,000 people attached
So
to you.
let me ask you a question. You went to the event, then you came out and said, "Okay, now we got the Android." Uh, How many downloads do you have right now? Do you want to share that or not?
I can't share that we're filing our 10K. I'd say that most people that stopped by the booth downloaded the app, and we'll start publishing, as soon as we get to significant numbers and we clear the 10K. We'll
Okay.
start putting numbers out. I can't do it at this point because they haven't been publicly disclosed yet.
Right. I got you.
But the response was amazing. Like people loved it. And we had a QR code. We started the conference, only iOS was out, and then we launched Android in the middle of it. We
Okay.
were waiting for the Google Play Store to approve it, and it came about on like Friday, which was great.
Okay. No, I got to tell you, man. I think you got a special one here. The stock, so my take on today, the volume is insane.
Mhm.
Um, you're becoming what do you want? What do I want to call you? Stories, maybe a story stock. I don't know,
Right.
But here's the thing. I think that at some point today's news, you said it yourself, was a little it's a little
Like
fluff. I mean, it was like nothing really. You're
it's
right.
nothing new. We had said we were launching the iOS and Android. This is the official, like not soft launch, but
Yeah.
still, it wasn't like came out of left field.
And it's nothing like material to say. I mean, right? So imagine what happens when there's something material behind that press release,
Mhm.
right?
That's what we're moving for now. The material positive events, and we're putting everything in place to have those.
Right. You're in this for you didn't really just decide to build this company just for fun or practice, did you?
No, this is my life's work. This is to build a big business quickly now that we're at the Myseum stage and really grow this. You think I was crazy, the numbers I think we could see in terms of user growth, but we're looking to grow this dramatically very quickly. And a lot of that's due to the mechanism on the DAT chat messenger. It was privacy, so it doesn't go viral. This is built to go viral, and with what we have to do with organizations and businesses, as well as the consumer, the average person using it, it can move very fast. And we're making sure all the features are there and the way to monetize this because we are a public company. It's important to start generating revenues. We've been essentially pre-revenue, but we're ending that phase very shortly.
Right. Right. I think this is absolutely fantastic, exciting time. So we covered the intellectual property. We covered well, we talked about the fact that it's got definitely has a good response. You've got it on the Apple Store, and then you've got it on Google Play, right?
Yeah, we're on Apple and Google Play. We are working on for the future a desktop version. That was one of the feedbacks we got. Some
I was
people
going to ask
still,
that too, actually, you know,
mhm.
because as you get older,
Yep.
the eyes just don't work as good as they used to. So you kind of have to blow everything up on your phone to the maximum so that you can actually see it, right? So you
And a
desktop
lot of people, they have their old digital cameras still stored on their desktops. Yeah.
right,
So,
that's true too, right? All right, so there is a desktop version coming. So that was some of the feedback that
yeah.
you got. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's
I can't
excellent.
give you a date on that, but it's in the works.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I'm happy to hear that because like as I think about this now, my mom is not going to go on. There's no way she's doing it on the phone,
No.
right? There's no way. On her laptop, yes, I can see her doing that. She's not going to do it on the phone. Just not going to happen.
Well, just like our pictures are locked on our phones, they're locked on our laptops and our computers, our
Yeah,
PCs. Think of how much, I have, you know, after 2009, I had my cell phone, most pictures were there, but between like 2002 and 2009, where were they? I had digital cameras
yep. I had a
and
floppy disk camera. Actually, I probably have some floppy disks somewhere with a
me
bunch of
too.
pictures on them. Now that I think about it, yeah, I had one of those. I mean, so you got pictures stored all over the place.
Well, if you look at companies like Legacy Box, which people take their old videos and videos and send them in and they digitize that, the old 8 millimeters and the tapes,
Yeah,
what happened? They're locked away too. Now it creates an easy way to save and store them, for future generations to preserve that legacy. There's there's a huge business around photos. No one just thought about, well, how do we share these and make it easier?
right. And you've done that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's here, right?
Hmm.
And it's very cool. So look, I would recommend to everybody, what's going to happen today. I don't know what's going to happen today. The stock not too long ago. What was the reasoning for the big spike the other not too long ago?
Oh, the last one when we ran up to nine and change, don't know.
You don't know.
Well, we didn't even have news out. It just
Okay, you didn't.
went.
Didn't have news, and it ran up to almost $10. And then of course it pulled right back down, right?
Hmm.
Maybe it does the same thing here. Where I would say you have a really solid floor is somewhere right around $2. You have a really good solid foundation right there, right? So will it come back to two? I don't know. Will it just hang out here? It did create a gap on the chart. Typically, gaps fill, not always, but most of the time they do. I think what's really interesting is it is putting in a floor like right around $2. So my thinking would be if it pulls back to that area, that would be a really good solid entry point. That would be my thinking. I'm not telling anybody to do that because that's not what I do. I don't tell anybody when to buy and sell. But this is the very beginning of this story, right? This is the very beginning of the Myseum launch. I think you're probably gonna get a lot of favorable press as things progress, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think it's gonna cost you a lot because I
No,
think
I think
people,
it's a consumer story too, just from the usability of what do we do with our photos. I could see a lot of, you know, I guess consumer friendly publications, you
yeah,
know, picking up on this in the future. There's good PR to be had, not on the financial side, but on the product side.
yeah, exactly. That's where I think you're just gonna start seeing the Myseum name more and more, and the more people see it, the more, of course, they're gonna want to check it out, right? So
Yep.
I think this is a really this could be a fun story to really pay attention to, right? So a couple of things I would suggest is that if you're not following this story, you go to DATS.com and you sign up for their email investor alerts, right? And
Hmm.
I personally I think I can get away with saying this: buy one share or two, whatever, because this will be one that if you have it, if you own it, you will pay attention to what's happening with the company. It's a natural thing. If you own it, for some reason, it sticks with you. If you don't,
Mhm.
sometimes they can slip through the cracks, right? So this is a really good one. And then I say download the app and start playing with it to
Yep.
really understand the product. And then once you understand the product, if you really like it, then maybe you step up and you buy 10 shares. I don't know. Right?
Right.
But that's how I view it. I mean, if it's an experience that you like, and then of course you send that to your friends and your acquaintances that you want to have on there, if they like it too, think about this for a second. That would be like saying, hey, there's this new place called Starbucks that's got coffee. Have you tried it yet? No. Oh
Mhm.
man, that's amazing coffee. Now, if you only would have thought, huh, maybe I should buy the stock too, which a lot of times the consumer gets lost, right? They forget that part. This would be like buying Facebook when Facebook just launched, right? It could be.
Privately. Yeah.
It could be. I'm not saying a guarantee that it will be. I'm just saying it could be. It could actually even be bigger. A lot of anything can happen, right? So that's why I think even if you're not a social media person, like I'm not a person that spends a lot of time on Facebook. I'm not going to take pictures of my food and put it on. I'm just not going to do that. But even if you're not that person, you should check it out. You should download it. You should start thinking about it from your business standpoint, or anything that you're passionate about. Maybe you're a gun guy or a car guy or I don't know. Whatever it is that you're involved in that you are passionate about. Maybe you're an art guy. I don't know. Whatever it is, or gal, right? Whatever it is that you are passionate about, imagine there being a little, what did you call it? A little not a universe, not
Solar system
the solar right, right,
in the galaxy.
in the galaxy, right? So imagine that little solar system that's part of you, right? And how many solar systems you actually probably have that you're involved in, because a lot of people have
Mhm.
more than one. Maybe it's pickleball. I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems to be real hot right now, pickleball, right? So I mean, all of these things, like you said, sports, soccer, right? Your kids' soccer. I mean, this thing is going to be massive, man. I can see it, and it's fun. It is fun.
And remember, everyone's part of a family. That's the cornerstone. Yeah, knowing what's going on in your family, sharing the pictures that get passed along. Where one person just doesn't own the shoebox anymore. You all have it.
Right.
One of the coolest parts of Myseum that we're still in the early stages. This is built in. It's called collections. If we're in the same Doberman group and I see pictures you like and you have them open for me, I could collect them and put them on my Myseum as a collection from you.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Mhm.
Let me ask you a question though. I actually thought of this. I wanted to bring this up to you because I got sued for an image that I used on my site. It was an image of wolves, right? And
Mhm.
I had something like join the pack, right, at Alpha Wolf, and I got sued for using that image, right, for business, and it was a real pain in the ass. I wound up having to pay it, right, because even though there was no watermark on it or anything,
Right.
because they owned it, and then they hit me with the thing, and I could have gone to fight it. It wasn't like this huge amount. It was, I want to say it was, I think they wanted to get like $1,500 from me, and I wound up settling for I think 650 with them, but it's
Mhm.
still 650, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that as potentially being any kind of an issue? I mean, well, what if I wanted to have the rights to my pictures so that if they did get used for business, that I wanted to collect a royalty, or what do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. In the store, like your museum can have a store of things you sell. right? And it could be the rights to pictures or, past shows that you have.
Right. Okay. So that would be something, right? You would have a store maybe where you have some
Hmm.
pictures that you sell, right?
Right. Where like some of the public museums we're starting to talk to, where people have collections and stuff. That's a conversation I had this morning where, let's say you had Pokemon, right? Yeah, you had a Pokemon museum where they could have a store selling, certain things for Pokemon and images that you could collect. Or,
I mean, there's people that I mean, think about it. Screensavers, all that stuff,
hmm.
right? Those are images that get sold. What is it, Shutterfly or if you're a really if you're good with the camera, right? This could be a little side gig for you, a little side hustle. Sell your pictures on my museum, Myseum.
Oh, dude, think of an influencer, a large influencer coming on. Yeah, think of the revenue they could generate, not just from advertising, but for selling things, because you're reaching past your initial follower. It's
Right.
the follower you could have.
Getting the followers follower.
Right.
Right. That's this thing could be this could be a monster, Darren. I think you got something special here, man.
It's geared to grow virally, and that's something that has been a passion of mine too. Finding that thing that's a natural tipping point and just goes. And I think this is set up because it's not based on something fluffy. It's on solving a problem of our personal media and business media locked up. And by bringing the two together with this technology, it could roll very, very quickly.
What
You
is
know,
your biggest concern? Do
my,
you have
my
one?
biggest my biggest concern is I know we could solve it. We've given it a lot of thought. Is navigating the galaxies as they get too big and making it easy. Like it's easy if you got 300 people, you can move it around. How do you get from point A to like one of the things that we built in is you could go search your galaxy and go, who's this, in Ireland and click it up and it's Rosie O'Donnell you're connected to,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because she just moved there. So how do you quickly move there? And the other thing we're working on, and we're using AI to do it, is if you have, let's say, 200,000 people in your galaxy, how are we connected? If I click on you and you're like 18 generations away for it to calculate that.
Right.
So we're
That-
using AI for that, but those are where the potential clogs come. And just that's why we started to work on the user interface for giant galaxies and how do we navigate it.
okay.
Or if you have a feed and you have 400,000, how do you limit who's coming in? Which we've already started doing that, where I'm only following these people, or I only want to see the dog people, or I only want to see, the dog people that are near me, meaning in my location, or only in the second generation of people. Because you can have a feed moving like a world, it'd be like a world Twitter feeding in if you're connected to all these people. So those are the things we know are issues, but not they're good problems to have that we know how to solve.
Do you, being that you're dealing with images and potentially videos, all that stuff, right? I mean, that
Mhm.
consumes a lot of bandwidth. Are you concerned about performance issues for the site as it gets bigger?
Well, we're not worried about that because we're using cloud now, and eventually we'll deploy our own blockchain, which
Okay.
is distributive storage that we have a patent on. But what's important is it'll always go up through the cloud first and then be distributed. So the processing, we use AWS right now. The power of AWS is unimaginable.
Okay. All right. So no concerns there. You're comfortable with
Mhm.
scaling and being able to keep up with performance, right? Because that
Yeah,
used to be a thing back, but I think that was probably before the cloud, right?
15 years ago, we could have never built this,
Right.
without
Right.
building a major data center. Now it's easy to scale on the cloud and then move to our proprietary software to help preserve it. And the
And
foundation
you just said blockchain, which I think is interesting. So blockchain is important for it, and you've got something that you have patented
Mhm.
that pertains to blockchain.
Yeah, we refer to it as our micro blockchain. which has a distributed storage system. So within every galaxy, eventually we'll have historians and archivists. And we haven't fleshed out the total business model for it yet, but they'll be incented to perpetuate the things that you want to live forever.
Okay, got it.
Like it wouldn't perpetuate everything, just the things you want to live forever, and the rest would remain on the cloud.
Got it. Okay, interesting. You guys are kind of like a high-tech company, huh?
Oh, we're very high tech. And we do everything in house. This isn't outsourced to India.
Right.
These are people in the office because we don't even think remote works. We're expanding our team now. We're looking to what we need to do. And I think our growth curve will be able to keep up with the technology curve because we built so much. We've been quiet about this for almost 2.5 years. We've been building this.
Or
And we have
do you have any needs to raise capital?
at this point, no. We have 2.5 years of capital. Unless the stock really goes, I have no intentions of raising capital in the near term here. Like a day like that, I don't need to raise capital. Why would I do that?
Right. So when you say if the stock really goes, and I'm just going to say this as an investor, if this
Hmm.
thing went to like $15, right? I would be pissed at you if you didn't raise some capital.
Yeah, 4 or 5 million. I wouldn't. Well, I see this in terms of I have something potentially very, very, very large. I'm not here. Yeah, I'm a stockholder. My money's in the value of the stock. I don't want to dilute myself, which means I don't want to dilute other shareholders
Right.
unless we need it for building or something. Right now, we're in very good shape.
Right. Got it. So, and that's a good thing. And to remind people, you are a capital markets guy. You came
Yes.
from that world, right?
And,
So you're
and
not a
just so you
dummy.
know, I drive my bankers crazy. Don't think I didn't get calls to raise money this morning.
Yeah, I know. But the beautiful thing is you're not going to do anything dumb, right?
No.
I mean, you've been around this game long enough. You know how it works, right?
Well, I think there's a lot of CEOs of public companies that raise money any time they can, and it's very dilutive to their shareholders. And just so ensuring, I don't know what they're ensuring. You have to remember, and I said this to one of the bankers today, is, I believe in this. I think we have something very different. It could get very big if it's done correctly. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but I'm in this, to build a big company. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I get that sense from you, Darin, and I
Mhm.
think you're off to a good start, man. So, anything you feel as though I missed anything here?
I think we covered it all. Yeah. Next time we talk, I'd like to have something more substantive to make the stock go than the announcement this morning.
All right. So, when do you think we should do a? When do you think we should do a follow up?
Maybe a few weeks.
Anything that you think investors should keep an eye on or look for over the next 2 3 weeks?
Well, the only
Anything
thing to
that you
look at
feel is could be a potential catalyst for people?
in terms of the stock, no, in terms of the product, just watch the app. We have a lot of updates coming. There'll be a lot of changes, fairly often.
Okay.
But we're building for the long term. I see a long road ahead of us. I see a shorter road to start generating revenue. And I think where we're going to take this, I think we're going to be a major brand in technology.
Do you have any features that are coming, like cool features that you have planned in your head that you haven't announced yet, but you think are pretty
Yes.
really differentiated and cool when you bring them out?
Yeah, well, we have some that I can't discuss. I think I mentioned that last time. The
Okay.
ones that we've alluded to that I've been discussing, like the videos that go out or the shared, the picture experience. But there's so much cool stuff, a lot of stuff using AI as well that we'll be able to do with this.
We talked about this last time. You have a group of they're like young programmers, right?
Hmm.
And they're coming in with I mean, they're adding to your product, like what they would like to see in something cool, right?
Yeah, some of them are weird too. Like one guy wants to put out a notice, a video on his death. If you're seeing this right now, I am dead.
I can I mean, I can see that though, right? I mean, it's kind of funny.
It's very funny. I'm coming to you from beyond the grave, and I have a personal message for you,
I think that's great, man.
Tim.
I mean, that's pretty cool. That's creative. I like that kind of. I like that kind of stuff,
It
right?
is, and what came from it is we need where you could appoint a moderator up to you as dead or deceased, and then the videos go out. That's all.
Right.
It's actually not that hard to do, but I think it's very funny that yeah, well, it's just funny to me.
I think it would be. How cool would that be if your obituary hits, right? And you actually send a video to everybody, letting them know that your obituary just hit.
But but I wouldn't be able to enjoy the looks on their faces.
I know that sucks. That would be cool though. All right.
Yeah.
3 weeks, Darin. I appreciate you taking the time, man. I'm happy that you had a good event. I'm happy you're having a good launch, and we'll see where this thing goes. CEO interview here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Today we had Darin, my man, CEO of DATS. Ticker symbol DATS. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor. Give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button, because all of those things are extremely important to us here at Alpha Wolf Capital. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Capital wishes you the very best of success.